Good morning, Hockey Nation fans. Oh my goodness, I'm everywhere. Everywhere. Welcome to Hockey Nation Friday, Detroit Red Wings Update Edition. We will recap the game that the Red Wings, I guess it was a game, the other night against the New Jersey Devils. Jakub Vrana has cleared waivers, and we will preview the game tonight versus the basement rival Florida Panthers. Also good mention, and there's another video that I'll post up just after this around Canada's win at the World Junior Championship. So congratulations to Canada. It was not without drama as Canada wins in overtime 3-3 versus Czechia, who battled back from a 2-0 deficit to tie it 2-2. Very dramatic fashion. Congratulations to Dennis Williams, our coach in Everett, who is the head coach of Team Canada, his first gold medal at the World Junior Championships as head coach. What the future holds, we shall find out. Also, congratulations to Olen Zellweger, the Anaheim draft pick, and the number one defenseman at Everett. So anyways, thank you, RJ, for posting this up. If you do watch this, please hit the likes, hit subscribes if you haven't, put the bell on for the morning show, and share this out. Good morning, Real Deal Prime. Howdy. Thank you so much for joining. We always love Red Wings fans here. 2-year contract for New York Rangers, Jimmy Vesey. This guy's got more lives than a cat. Continues to get a contract in the NHL. I guess at $800,000, that's a good deal for him. He keeps playing the NHL. He's capable, but never lived up to the hype. And he's a bit of a journeyman at this point. 6 games tonight in the NHL, including Nashville versus Washington at 7 p.m. Nashville had a very inconsistent season. Washington getting some guys coming back. They're going to get Backstrom and Tom Wilson back, so that's going to be interesting. All right, so just on the Detroit Red Wings front, we know that Jakub Vrana was put on waivers prior to Wednesday night's game, and he ended up clearing through all 31 NHL teams that could have picked him up. He has a $5 million 2-year cap. We know he's coming off of a stint in the NHL Player Assistance Program, so there's speculation. Does a Buffalo pick him up? Does, Arizona pick him up? No, none of them picked him up. He played 3 games in the AHL, had no points. Very un-Vrana-like. So I think the Red Wings are counting on this guy coming back after 2 months in the Player Assistance Program and hopefully being a goal-scoring threat, but it just seems like he's not quite there yet. When we'll see him debut, I'm not sure if we'll see him tonight. We'll have to check on that. But the guy that did debut on Wednesday night was Robbie Fabbri, who's been battling back from a long-term, I believe, knee injury, right? It's a knee injury. He's had several knee injuries, so I can't keep track of or is this one shoulder? Jeez, I don't even know. But what's it this time? Robbie's had a bunch of injuries, but we know he's been out for 7 months after surgery. So Robbie Fabbri comes back. And they place Vrana on waivers to let Fabbri stay on the roster. That doesn't work really well. It doesn't really have much of an effect. The Red Wings get absolutely thumped by the New Jersey Devils, who have had an inconsistent last 10 games. After an absolutely torrid start, the Devils have kind of fallen off, but you can see there's a big difference between the Red Wings and the Devils at this point. Jack Hughes just racking at points. Got to think a couple more goals last night. So he is living up to everything that goes along with being a first overall draft pick. Jack Hughes is that franchise player. We saw at the World Junior Championship Simon Nemec. If you were New Jersey fans, you were like, Simon Nemec, are you ready for the NHL yet? Maybe. He's very close. Going back to the AHL after this, but will he be in the NHL by the end of the season? I kind of am thinking yes. This game started out fine. And then Dougie Hamilton scored on a screen power play goal from the point, and that made it 1-0. And then Nico Hischier continues to have a really good season. 17th goal in the season made it 2-0. It did not stop there, folks. It was all New Jersey in the third. Absolutely crazy. Michael McLeod getting his 4th. Alexander Holtz, who had gotten his first assist, NHL assist, I believe, on that goal, then scores to make it 4-0. And we know that Holtz has a big reputation playing against his longtime running mate, Lucas Raymond, on the other side. So this night, so far, 2 points for Holtz at that point. And then Jack Hughes gets his 22nd of the year. I'm going to tell you that after last night, I think Hughes has 24 goals now. So he got 2 more goals last night. He is absolutely playing great. Former Detroit Red Wing Thomas Tatar got his 14th assist on that goal. Lucas Raymond manages to get a power play goal on this from Larkin and Sider. Sider, obviously far off from his rookie season offensive output. It was 5-0 at that point. Pretty solid game from Vanacek on the Jersey side, who's had overall a very good year. But as Vanacek goes, it seems that's how New Jersey's going to go, which I guess is not surprising. So this just ends up a thumping. This is a game they're going to want to forget. With that, New Jersey 24-12-3, but they lost last night. So they returned to losing ways. They are now 3-6-1 in their last 10. So I kind of said before, I think they're going to start falling, but they're definitely way ahead of where Detroit is. Detroit 3-5-2 in their last 10, but they got teams like Buffalo has been playing great. We know Pittsburgh's fallen off the face of the planet. Ottawa's doing better. They're getting their second win. Don't look now, but Philadelphia is 15-17-7. Wait, what? As Detroit's 16-13, we're just heading towards, there's 3 games in hand for Detroit. So we'll see how that pans out as they face Florida, their basement rivals. Florida is just going to keep dropping, guys. I'm sorry. I just don't see this turning around. I don't believe in the coaching scenario. Even though they got Barkov back, they are back to their losing ways. Yeah, New Jersey and Rangers will be tomorrow. There are 6 games tonight, including Florida versus Detroit, Tampa versus Winnipeg, Arizona, Chicago, San Jose, Anaheim. Long and the short of it, tonight is Florida versus Detroit. So in their last 10, we see 4-6-0. Don't expect this to change much. I think at best, Florida is going to remain a 500 team. I think that's the way that's going to work with Paul Maurice as the coach. They're just not going to overachieve. They're not even going to achieve what they're capable of. It was better with Andrew Brunette. They're probably going to wish they had Andrew Brunette. Now, they've had a lot of injuries. Don't get me wrong. Not having Barkov is a big deal. 3-5-2 for your Detroit Red Wings. They really need something to pull them out of this. What that is, I am not sure. They actually were pretty positive in the face-off circle last night, and then they got just thumped, or on Wednesday. So we got Ville Husso confirmed against Spencer Knight, who is unconfirmed. Good morning, Azure Tiger. I don't know. I can't speak Russian, my friend. What does it say? Does it say Mishkov is playing? That's what I want to know. So 17-18-4 versus 16-13-7. Michael Rasmussen, 6 points in his last 5 games. Didn't have an amazing game last game. 3 goals for Dylan Larkin those 5 games. Elmer Soderblom. So there's a lot of good news stories here for Hi. Is that what that said in Russian? I don't know. Where are you based, Azure Tiger? We'd like to know. Are you in a Baltic state? Are you in Russia? Are you in Ukraine or Belarus? With this, you can see Detroit firmly in 5th place. Are they firm? No, they are not firm. They have 39 points, and so do the Ottawa Senators, but they do have 3 games in hand. They have 3 games in hand on Florida. Oh, they have 4 games in hand on Florida. So winning tonight would go a long way. Their schedule doesn't get much easier after this. They will face the Toronto Maple Leafs, although Toronto's in a bit of a slump right now. Is that what the doctor ordered for Toronto, is facing Detroit? Maybe at this point. Winnipeg playing real well. Toronto again next week. And Columbus is, a good matchup for Detroit. So there's some winnable games here. It would be nice to see them beat Florida, beat Toronto one of those 2 times, and beat Columbus. And if they finish the month 500, that'd be great. The following week, Colorado's going to be real tough. They're getting healthier as we go. Arizona playing pretty well. They lost, I think, last night pretty good. Vegas, on the top 3 in the NHL. Philadelphia on a 4-game winning streak, and they're looking pretty solid all of a sudden. San Jose is a winnable game. Montreal's a winnable game. So they could conceivably come out with at least a 500 record in January, and that's kind of what you're hoping for. Good morning, Sens fans. Coach is not usually on in the morning. This is your Detroit Red Wings update Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Coach will be on tonight. When we look back at the schedule, is there a Montreal game tonight? I believe there is, right? Or is that tomorrow night? Maybe it's tomorrow night. Yeah, there's no Montreal game tonight. I guess it's tomorrow night. So, but Coach is on every single day. Your Ottawa Senators are looking pretty good there. They've been playing some decent hockey, and I think they're probably going to maybe catch the Red Wings, unless the Red Wings do something dramatic here. Although Red Wings have, like I said, 3 games ahead on Ottawa. Ottawa's been playing pretty decent, 6-3-1 in their last 10. They seem to be getting their act together a little bit, and their goal differential is even. Fantilli or Michkov? Well, normally I would say Michkov. Fantilli, you can see, first of all, this is the 2005 birth year draft. Connor Bedard is a 2005 birth year. Okay, he's 17. Leo Carlsson is 2004, but he's a late birthday. He is born in December. Adam Fantilli is born in October. He is 2 months younger or older than Fantilli and a year older than anybody else. Like, both these guys are overagers, okay? Michkov and Bedard are the only 2005 guys that ranked in that top 3-4. And I think you can see from that, Leo Carlsson to me is ahead of Adam Fantilli. Adam Fantilli is a very good player. He's going to have a very good NHL career. He could be a number 1 center in the NHL. I think Leo Carlsson is ahead of him at this point. He is the same size. He makes better decisions. He scores clutch goals. Fantilli, we saw at the World Junior Championship, really kind of struggled offensively. Yes, he contributed defensively. The obvious thing is he's got skill and ability. So is he Quinton Byfield? No, he's ahead of Quinton Byfield, but he's also old. Like, he's a year older. Okay, so he couldn't go with his 2004 draft class because of his birth month. And same with Leo Carlsson. So for me, it's really Michkov and Bedard are 1 and 2. Michkov is like what you like about Bedard, you would love about Michkov, except maybe he's a little sturdier physically, like he's a little bit stumpier, and he can really score too. Like, if you like Bedard's shot, Michkov's a much harder shot, and he's been playing against men for a while in the KHL. So I think, to me, this is a Bedard Michkov draft normally. The issue being, will Michkov ever come? Will he be Kaprizov and stay till he's 22, 23? And he may never come. You don't know what geopolitical things are going on. Russia couldn't even play at the World Junior Championships. So to me, it's more Carlsson versus Fantilli, and I think Carlsson is ahead of Fantilli at this point. And I think Fantilli will go 3rd or 4th, and he will be a really good pickup for somebody. I just think that's the way it's going to go. And I think that's the way it should go. Coach is doing a live game Detroit and Florida. Oh, well, I should join you guys. I will reach out to Coach. If it's Red Wings, I'm sure I can jump on at some point during that game. So long of the short of it, this will be an interesting game. We know Keith Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, the lesser Tkachuk, having a great season, not missing a beat from last year. This moving Jonathan Huberdeau for him, absolutely a great stroke, but not translating to wins for Florida. We know they've been, hurt, but, come on. They're not like totally decimating. You got one of the top, probably the top left winger in the NHL right now. Montour having a very good year offensively. Ekblad is back. Where do the excuses run out? Got to run out pretty soon here. At some point, you have to call what this is. This is coaching. Jean-Francois Benoit, thank you for joining. The reason I'm asking is I'm on franchise mode NHL 23, and I have a 2nd overall pick. I would pick Michkov over Fantilli and probably Carlsson because he's a year younger, and he is a legit superstar. If you like Kirill Kaprizov, you are going to love Michkov. Now, he's been hurt this year, so has he played? I don't know. If you want a number 1 centerman, that's not Michkov, and I don't know if Bedard. I think Bedard you're going to see play on the wing. So I think if you want a number 1 centerman, Leo Carlsson looks ready to step in the NHL to me. Fantilli, I think, is not. That would be my assessment. If I look at Leo Carlsson, he could step in maybe to 3rd, 2nd line. Like, if you like Anton Lundell, Leo Carlsson is better than that. That's the way I look at it. The Senators got a shutout 4-0. Yes, they did. That was good news, right? So, this is your Detroit Red Wings update. This is your NHL update. Let's take a look at the NHL because we've talked about the Red Wings. Vrana cleared waivers. Robbie Fabbri has returned. We're running out of excuses for the Red Wings too. We got to see another level from this team as they hit the halfway point. They've got a bunch of games in hand, and they got a schedule where they should at least come out 500 this month. And they honestly need to be more. Like they could be, if they really want to make the playoffs, which I just don't think is going to happen. I think you're going to see where they are in the standings is going to remain where they are in the standings. Okay, like they're going to be 4th, 5th in the wild card race. Yeah, so you're saying who do I take second overall in your NHL 23? Listen, Michkov and Bedard are 1 and 2, but if you desperately need a center, take Leo Carlsson. He's a year older and he could play right now. He's really good. And I don't know how they rate him in the game, but he's better than Fantilli at this point. Fantilli is very raw and he has some mistakes in his game. I'm talking the Wings over Panthers tonight. You're taking them. Yes, I think that that's possible. But there's some wild card in both of these, right? Like Florida's so inconsistent. You took Michkov. Well, good. You're going to get a 50-goal scorer. That is Kirill Kaprizov 2.0. That is Pavel Bure 2.0. This guy's legit. Very, very good player. Connor Bedard's like Patrick Kane. Maybe better. You never know. He's early, so you don't know. Bo Horvat to Winnipeg. Ooh, Lucky Luciano. Thank you. Good morning. Is that what you're hearing? Who would Vancouver get? Would they get like Niemela? Would they get Chaz Lucius, who had a hat trick yesterday in an 8-7 win over Sweden in the bronze medal game? Would they get Cole Perfetti, who's having a pretty darn good rookie year, high hockey IQ? Bo Horvat having an absolutely lights out offensive goal scoring season. The Anaheim Ducks are junk. The defense is the problem in Anaheim, and this might be by design. We know they moved out Josh Manson. You see what Hampus Lindholm is doing in Boston. And then Jamie Drysdale's out for the season. So if you look at the Anaheim defense, it's not as good as you would like. And I don't love the coaching there. Well, they got a shutout, I think, the other night. That was kind of like a shocker. You know, they need to get 2 more defensemen. They've got Drysdale, who will come back. Olin Zellweger, you saw at the World Junior Championships. I think in the next year or 2, he's in Anaheim. He's just too physically prepared. He's not a big guy, but he's super smart, amazing skater, high hockey IQ, very tough to play against one-on-one. Not hearing that, but it would be a great addition. Yeah, it would, but nobody wants to go to Winnipeg. Michkov is rated lower than Carlson and Fantilli. He's a better player, and he's younger than these guys. So he's better than both of them at this point. However, Carlson has the most upside, in my opinion, right now. He is ahead of Fantilli. And if you want a number 1 centerman, like a Barkov type guy, would you like Alexander Barkov? Because then you'll like Leo Carlson. Now, again, he's a year older, which means he's probably closer. He could probably step into the NHL, I believe. I think Adam Fantilli is going to have some adjustment. He did not look amazing. He did not have a great World Juniors. And he's playing, my beef with Fantilli is he went and played at some nonsense prep school instead of playing in the GTHL. Now, albeit that's probably because of COVID. So that's probably part of it, right? COVID in Canada was on supreme lockdown, where it's, oh, gee, you can play in the States. Shocker. Those guys get to continue playing. So I get that. But that's soft. That's a soft level. He's playing below his level there. And then he goes to the USHL and he lights up the USHL. That just tells you what the USHL is. It's not the Canadian Hockey League. It's not the OHL, where if he went to the OHL, it would have been a much tougher slag. But you don't want to be like Shane Wright and miss a year. So I get that. Yeah, good news about Dylan Larkin being in the All-Star game. The All-Star rosters were announced. Will you watch the All-Star game? On paper, it looked crazy, but we know it's like not great hockey. But it's fun, I guess, to watch the skill stuff and see the best of the best against each other. I don't know. Do they go 3-on-3? Maybe they need a 3-on-3 tournament for the All-Star game. Something different. back to Fantilli. So he plays the USHL last year and lighted that up. And now he's like in the NCAA and lighting that up. Again, these are both old leagues. These are players. This is what I keep telling you. Major Junior is ahead of both NCAA, way ahead of the USHL. And you can see it in Adam Fantilli's game. It's an immature game. He's a year older and he's not at the level of most of these guys. Like it's not like Connor Bedard where he's in the World Junior Championship as a 17-year-old and performing like, historically. Leo Carlson played like a 2004. He's big, he's smart, he makes great decisions with the puck, he can really fly, he scored clutch goals, he's a good playmaker, and he's good defensively. Leo Carlson is ahead of Adam Fantilli. Michkov, though, is a 2005, and so is Bedard. And Michkov right now, I think, is stepping the NHL and scored 25, 30 goals at Betcha. So that's that. Will Boston do what it takes to keep Pasternak? If they're smart, where do you get a guy like this? And they stole him. They got him so late in that draft. He's played with them since day one. Maybe the top pick of his draft class. Toronto. Well, Toronto, what do you think of your Toronto Maple Leafs? Are they back in the losing column? They absolutely ripped Toronto 5-1 last night. This hurts my heart, but I have no faith in Toronto. I do not like that defense, the way it's structured. I do not like their style of play. They win games based upon 4 big players. That's how they win. The Sudbury Wolves, I am not sure. I haven't really kept track of the OHL, to be honest with you. What happened here? Oh, the Habs did the wrong thing. Slav is really good. Shane Wright is better. No, they're both. Listen, I've said this since the beginning. And if you go back and watch when we talked about the draft, I said, I think Nemec is ahead of Slav and Wright. And you saw that at the World Juniors. This guy's playing in the AHL. He's capable of playing in the NHL probably very shortly, if not now. Simon Nemec has always been better than Slavkovsky. And they played together since they're like little kids, okay? Along with Messer. So Simon Nemec is going to be a number 1 or worst case number 2 defenseman in the NHL. He led that Slovakia team without Slavkovsky. Slavkovsky has not had success at the World Juniors. He had success at the Olympics, and that's what his reputation was based upon. The Olympics were 3rd-tier players and goalies. So yes, his act worked there. Yes, you know what? But think about Slavkovsky. He's big. He's powerful. He could end up being a Svechnikov type player. I do now kind of believe that. But we know Svechnikov at the same age has always been better. I've seen Svechnikov since he's 15. So you go, well, that's, I think the problem with Slav is he was playing at center and then they moved him to wing. He's not a creative player, but he can shoot the puck. Shane Wright can shoot the puck. If you look at Shane Wright's rookie season as an exceptional player in the OHL, he had 39 goals and 26 assists. And you saw that he was point a game at the World Juniors, solid but not spectacular, scored a terrific goal yesterday, but he is meat and potatoes. So he is a north-south type guy. He can play with better players. He can get his shot off with no space. And that is Shane Wright. And I just don't know, is he Bo Horvat? He's more like Bo Horvat. He's not a franchise player, but he could be a very good player. And he will be a very good player. You could put him on the wing. He'll score. You can make him a second-line center. He'll win faceoffs. He'll do his job 200 feet. I mean, that was pretty obvious in the tournament. He makes an effort defensively. He's not dominant defensively. So does he have a 200-foot game? Yeah, he's conscious of playing a 200-foot game. And he's going to be a good player, but that's not a franchise player. Is that like significantly ahead of where Slavkovsky is? Not sure about that. I mean, Slavkovsky is a big man that can shoot the puck too. All right, so then you go Simon Nemec and David Jiricek. People are like, wow, Jiricek can shoot the puck. Wow, Jiricek can score. Yes, Jiricek can skate. Jiricek's difficult to play against defensively, and he's just going to get bigger and stronger. Simon Nemec has high hockey IQ. So a little bit of risk in his game, but he's pretty good. And if he gets his defensive game under control, but it's already pretty high level, that's a number 1 or 2 defenseman. Same for Jiricek. So those guys I would rank ahead of him. And Logan Cooley has a high ceiling. Not a big player, but his offensive capability. So you would, personally, I think 1, 2, and 3 could have been Jiricek, Nemec, and Cooley, and then Wright or Slavkovsky. That would have been probably a better stack. And then you saw Cutter Gauthier for the USA. Cutter Gauthier. Oh, so you went to the Tampa game? Was that the Tampa game, Jean-Francois? Cutter Gauthier had a great tournament for the U.S., and you can see he's a similar player where he's big, he can shoot the puck, and he's really difficult to play against. He played in the top line for the U.S. team. He was very, very good. So Philadelphia's got a real good player. Shane Wright, when you were in Niagara, oh, okay. So you're in the OHL when he was with Kingston. He might go back to Kingston. If he goes back to Kingston, which would be weird for me, I don't see him improving in the OHL. I think this guy's shown he can play pro. He can, if the ideal thing would be stick him in the AHL. If Seattle's not going to play him, Seattle's winning, so that's the problem. But he could play wing right now in the NHL and score goals. He's got a goal and assist in 8 games in the NHL, and they're playing him 6 minutes a night. This is not handling him correctly. He's not going to get flashier. That's not his game. You can rely on him. Pens have absolutely fallen apart. No, I love Malkin. Malkin's not your problem. Your problem is Chris Letang is off, and that defense is structured around Chris Letang. Did you watch them in the Winter Classic or last night? Their defensive play is a joke. Cody Ceci is horrific, which I've always said. Jeff Petrie is erratic, right? He can't play in the top 2, and you're putting him in the top 2. I mean, that's the thing. You just pulled out the linchpin, which is Chris Letang. Ty Smith has never worked out, and they lost John Marino, and we're seeing how good John Marino is in New Jersey. And Ty Smith is nowhere to be found. That defense is a mess, and that's the problem. Like, they're playing outside the dots, so the other team's driving down the middle right to the net, and you got no Tristan Jarry, who's hurt after the Winter Classic. So you're dealing with Casey DeSmith. Did you see the goal Jack Eichel scored on Casey DeSmith? He sees the whole net. And you're playing the 3rd best team in the NHL in Vegas. So that was just what it is. Okatso's native Gage Alexander signed entry-level contract with Anaheim Ducks. Okay, I'm not familiar with Gage. Seattle only 4 points behind LA, and LA is defying logic because they don't have great goaltending and they're winning. People say Bedard, lack of size concern. There's zero concern with Connor Bedard. I'm just going to tell you right now. You saw him, what he did at the World Juniors against bigger, older players. He's 17, and he ripped that tournament apart. Now, he didn't score in the game-winning or in the last game. That's fine. Everybody's keying in on him. They're not going to key in him on in the NHL for a while. He could probably step in. Listen, do you like Patrick Kane? If you like Patrick Kane, you're at least getting that with Connor Bedard. At least. Okay? He will be a great player. That is my conclusion. After this World Juniors, and you see him, he is not afraid. He threw his weight around against bigger players his own size, no problem. And he's not even strong yet. But his edge work, his ability to find angles from everywhere. He's a threat every single shift. He makes players around him better. He's got excellent above-average speed. Some of that's going to even out against NHL players and defensemen. But this is going to be a very, very good player. A lot of talk, O'Reilly will Blues. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. But he's hurt right now. He's on the injury reserve along with Tarasenko. He's had a foot problem, I think, all year. But if he moves, I know you like him with the Bruins. I don't like the Bruins, but it would make sense on paper. I don't want to see Ryan in a Bruins uniform. When David Goyette and Nick DeGrazia are going to get drafted? Who? I don't know. Maybe never. Where do these guys play, guys? Is this in Sudbury? I'm not even sure. Anyway, so that is your update for today. We are 13 minutes before the hour. I want to thank everybody for joining. Is there anything else that you want me to touch on that I haven't? Looking ahead tonight, we know we have 6 games on. The one that we will have, actually, it sounds like it'll be Florida versus Detroit, so I will try to join Coach this evening. Oh my God. Finland, Latvia. Is it a joint? Is it a joint host? Is that what that is? Yeah, those are the Sudbury guys. So I'm trying to think of Goyette. Do I know his? I think I know his dad. I'm not sure. I don't know how. I can't remember. I thought he was in 05. So it would be in this upcoming draft, wouldn't it? Oh, he's in 04. So he's been passed over. 47 points, 31 games. That's turned out pretty good. But he's drafted already. He's drafted by the Seattle Kraken in the second round, David Goyette. So, yeah, he's already drafted. And then Nick DeGrazia, let's take a look. I'm not familiar with, I'm so out of the OHL loop because I'm in the WHL. Oh, he's a 2002, man. This guy ain't going anywhere. Rayside Balfour Canadians. Listen, the worst reffing I've ever experienced is a Rayside Balfour Canadians. I'm not pulling at all from Maverick Lamoureux. Is that the is his mom one of the Lamoureux sisters? That's the US guy. Why do I know that name? Drafted by Arizona. Okay, this is the big guy, 6'7", right? Whereas this is the guy where his dad kissed the mom on the lips and sent the internet into a frenzy. He's a 6'7" guy from Drummondville. It was a real French kiss. It looks like he's missed most of the year. He's only played 4 games. Interesting. Do you like the 3-on-3? I did not. I was not happy about that. I was watching. I was like, what is this chaos? Oh, wait, it's 3-on-3. I did not like it. Good morning, Enertap. Good morning, Enertap, our friend. Enertap has joined. I will try to join tonight. I don't know if you'll be on Enertap because I guess it's Red Wings versus Florida Panthers tonight. I got to go with the Red Wings, but there's nothing that gives me any confidence that they're going to beat Florida. Florida is erratic. I do not like Florida's defense. They play that swarm Paul Maurice nonsense, and it's chaos. Does not help the goalies. That was a heck of a kiss, though. Maverick Lamoureux. Mom, dad. It's like, yeah, we did it. And it's our love that did this. It was a very French kiss. I guess he's only played 4 games this year, so that's interesting. 4 points in 4 games, but that's, he's missed 30 games, so I don't know what his injury situation was. Oscar Plandowski played on that team. Did he get traded? This is a Detroit Red Wings pick. Oh, Moncton picked him up. Okay, interesting. He's in the queue, plays for Drummondville, right? But he's drafted by the Arizona Coyotes. And if you watched his draft day when he got picked, his dad kissed his mom on the lips. It was very romantic. Yeah, I think I'll take Detroit. Detroit has not been playing great. 3-5-2, not great numbers in their last 10. We know we got Fabbri back. Are we going to see Jakub Vrana? That's what I'm curious about. I don't think he's drawing into the lineup yet. Yeah, Enertap's there. The rumor is they're going to send him back to the OHL. I don't see this helps him. He can play in the NHL, Enertap. He is capable of playing the NHL right now. That is obvious. He's as physically mature as he's going to be. He needs to be around pro players. You can see his shot is NHL caliber right now. And if he's playing a regular shift, he's not going to hurt you. He's conscious of the 200-foot game. Okay, great. You got all these centermen that are clicking really well in Seattle. Put Shane Wright on the wing on the 3rd line or the 2nd line. He's better than what you got, probably. Seattle's an old team. That is not a young team, aside from Matthew Benier. And is Matthew Benier like better than Shane Wright at this point? I mean, really? I don't think so. He's 2 years older. 2 years older, right? You've got 2002 versus a 2004. And if you put them side by side, I am sorry, he is not better. I like Matty Beniers. He's got a really good engine. He keeps going. You're not going to lose anything by putting Shane Wright in there. I do not think that he has any reason to go back to the OHL. That makes no sense. But if he does, he won't even play for Kingston. They will trade him. And the rumor is he will go to Peterborough with Brennan Othman, which is his former teammate in the GTHL with the Don Mills Flyers. How are David Goyette and Maverick Lamoureux brothers? Like half brothers? Arizona or the Hawks? I think Arizona right now. Seattle could use him. Listen, there's no you saw what he did in the AHL. He ripped up the AHL in 5 games. 4 goals in 5 games. And you saw what he did yesterday. And you saw what he did in the tournament. He is not going to be a franchise player. He is not a dominant player. but he is what he's always been, which is better than his age. So he's 18 and you think he's 21. And I think that's where he is. He does a lot of things real well, above average, and he's got a very, very above average shot. And he can get the puck off quickly. And he doesn't make crazy mistakes. And he can play with high skilled players. And he'll do all the little stuff, right? He's not physically overpowering, but he's not small either. And you can put him in the faceoff circle and probably do pretty well. I think if Seattle's smart, they play him. You don't bury that guy at 6 minutes a game. You need to find Shane Wright the perfect line mate. No, you could put Shane Wright as a right winger on any one of those lines in Seattle. Sorry, he's better than guys that are that old. That team is old. Aside from Matthew Beniers, look at the ages of those guys. A lot of 91s and 90s. I coached that age group when they were young. Like, that's a long time ago. Shane Wright scored his first NHL goal, right? So he scored against Montreal. He will go in front. He'll find soft space, and he doesn't need any time to get his shot off. It's a quick, hard snap, and that's really useful. The Jets can get Horvat. They will be in the Final Four. Why would Horvat go to Winnipeg? Everyone has Winnipeg on their no trade list. They're setting him down, trading him to some stronger team. Yeah, Peterborough. So that sounds like it is Peterborough. Could end up in Kitchener. You never know. But I think it'll be Peterborough. If he goes with Brendan Othman, you saw how they play together. They've played together since they're like 12 or 13 in the GTHL with Don Mills Flyers, along with Brant Clark. That's a pretty good team in the GTHL when you got those three guys on it. I'm not sure. Leaning towards the Coyotes. Oh, we got a lot of bettors here. Where is Alex Gendron and Marc-Andre Godet drafted? I'm not sure. You'd have to check. Let's look. So you're talking about another 2002 in Duberville, or are we talking about someone else? Because there's a 2003 playing for Gatineau. Oh, he's drafted by Philadelphia in the 7th round. So that's a long shot. This guy's going to play anywhere. He's only played 4 games again. Why? Oh, no, he was traded. So he was doing pretty well before that. But this is an overager. He's a 2003. I mean, old guys score more points when they're that age in major junior. This is like his last. This is not an indication. This is a high value prospect. Winnipeg is the most underrated team so far this year. Maybe. Who the hell wants to go to Winnipeg? Unless you know you're a free agent next year, you can get the hell out. Crazy game between US and Sweden. That was nuts. That was like a barn burner. They were both exhausted. They just, I think the US was really let down by the Canada game. They did play great. And, frankly, probably if you're being objective, maybe one of those 2 goals shouldn't have been called back. But, in the end, you bump the goalie. It is against the rule. That was the third. The goal would have made it 3-3. And then the other goal, you can't push the goalie in or, shovel under the goalie and score. It doesn't work that way. Degenerate sports gamblers, sir. Sorry, sir. Well, yeah, that was a crazy game. If you're Sweden, are you disappointed in your tournament? You knocked off Finland, but once again, you don't medal. I didn't think the Swedish team was that good this year, but there's some good players on it. The goalie, I thought, kind of played pretty good up until that point. Lindblom. Lakates. All right, guys, this is 3 minutes before the hour. I want to thank you all for joining. Please hit the likes and subscribe. Share this with your mom, your dad, your cat. Let's build up the morning show a little bit more. I will be back on Monday morning. I will try to join the coach tonight for Detroit Red Wings versus Florida. I think he will let me in during intermission because that's just the type of guy he is. And we can talk about Detroit Red Wings and how they are doing versus the underachieving, in my opinion, Florida Panthers. I would love to coach Florida. Please send me there and I will do a good job. Or don't take our coach. Don't take Dennis Williams. But that would be a good fit for Willie. What the heck is going on with the Devils? Caps and Rangers are now behind them. Well, the Devils go as Vanacek goes. And they were overachieving. And Vanacek's kind of settling back to, up and down a little bit. And this was what the frustration of Washington was. You see Washington's doing pretty well with Kumper and Charlie Lindgren. What? Didn't Montreal have this guy as their third goalie? Maybe you should have kept him Montreal. Gendron got drafted. I said that in the 7th. Yeah. And Mark, but these are late round draft picks. Devils slowly moving backwards, and they're old. 2003, those are overagers, so their numbers in the OHL are inflated. Number 1 is Bedard. Normally, number 2 would be Michkov, in my opinion. Number 3 would be Leo Carlsson. Number 4 would be Fantilli. I think Fantilli and Carlsson are both 04s. I kind of talked about this before. And Fantilli's older than Carlsson, and Carlsson's better than him. They're both 6'3", 190. Carlsson is more mature. He's playing in the SHL. You can see that. Adam Fantilli playing in the NCAA is doing nothing for him. You can tell. He's raw. He doesn't know the 200-foot game. He's learning it on the fly. You saw that in the game against Czechia where they just capitalized on him missing 2 checks, shooting on his own goalie, turning over the puck twice. And he didn't really have offensive success at the World Junior stage, as frankly, it's his tournament. He's 18. Connor Bedard's 17. Michkov is 17. They're both 05s. Leo Carlsson has much more maturity to his game. Very good playmaker. Scored clutch goals. Same size. Great skater. There's no chinks in his game. If you want a number 1 centerman, Leo Carlsson could be Alexander Barkov. Do you want Barkov? If you want Bedard, you have the potential of Patrick Kane. Maybe different, maybe better. You don't know. He looks like that. And Michkov is Kirill Kaprizov. The problem with Michkov is, will he ever come to North America? Big, big, big question mark. Kaprizov came when he's, 23? That could be Michkov. He may never come. Geopolitics are the issue with him. But normally, it would go Bedard, Michkov, Carlsson, Fantilli. Number 5, I'm not sold on Saleh as being that high for Czech. I don't think we saw the best of him. I didn't get to see Will Smith much with the U.S. So I think I like Brandon Yeager. I like Zach Benson. Dvorsky looked very good. So I think that number 5 spot is up for grabs at this point. I see people are rating Will Smith ahead of Michkov, maybe just because. But to me, Carlsson is better than Fantilli. Like, you're not taking a 17-year-old and projecting him out. You're taking an 18-year-old and projecting him out. Uche played decent, right? Played his role. The Rangers are the real deal. I'm not sure about the Capitals. Well, the Capitals are getting 2 real deal players back, though. They've played this well and are, pretty close to the Rangers, and they haven't done it with Backstrom, and they haven't done it with Tom Wilson. What do you think of that? And you got great years from, Dylan Strome, who was a pickup, right? Like, you've got guys that are performing in their absence, and they've played a different style where they played pretty damn well. So now you get this Backstrom come in and change the equation. You got to think so. That's Ovi's running mate, right? And that lets Kuznetsov form a really solid second line again. And then you got Tom Wilson, who's like a truck and can score. So I think that Washington might surprise us all. Well, I think we see the overratedness, though, of Quebec players, don't we? How's Alexis Lafreniere, the number 1 overall pick, doing? Guy that was overage in his draft year, struggling to stay in the lineup now with the Rangers. Yeah. So any day, those 2 players are coming back. Those are 2 cornerstones of a Stanley Cup champion. You get this, the most annoyingly scary giant goal-scoring man in Tom Wilson. And you got, frankly, the best player for the Washington Capitals the last 15 years in Backstrom. Now, he's coming from a pretty serious surgery, so we'll see what happens. Listen, Bedard's not hype. Bedard is legit. Bedard's tough. He's fast. He has angles. He is another Power Edge Pro type player. So what's Power Edge Pro? That's where you get, McDavid, now Bedard. You get Jack Hughes. Those guys, where they use their edges, they're small, they can get shots off in tight, they got leverage and power on them. They're great playmakers because they find angles in small areas. And that's what you're getting with him. He's got everything you would want. And if you want Patrick Kane, but a modern Patrick Kane, Patrick Kane is the one of the top 5 scorers the last 5-6 years, by the way, if you look at his numbers. That's what you're getting with Bedard, and maybe you don't know, like his ceiling could be something new because they're overhyped. They have a little bit softer league, right? It's not that there's not good players. There are very good players in that league. However, the hype overshadows what they're actually capable of, and it's not as physical or defensively robust, say, as the OHL, or definitely not the WHL. Now, it goes in cycles, right? And there's very good players that will come out of the Quebec Major Junior League. They might even win Memorial Cup. Although Seattle's probably the favorite now. You got to think with those 4 players, the goalie Thomas Milic going back to Seattle. Seattle's going to be is ranked number 1 in the CHL for a reason. They made the finals last year on the back of Thomas Milic. That's probably your team, right? But, there's very good teams in Quebec, so they might still win. However, it's pretty clear now. You go back to Alexis Lafreniere. Okay. How'd that work out? It's not that he's a bad player, but is that a first overall draft pick in the rearview mirror? He was a year older. He was the next, great superstar Quebec player. No, he wasn't. I mean, he had big points with Rimouski, 105 and 112 points in 52 games. So that's legit. And he's capable of being a 20 goal scorer in the NHL. But you look at after him, Quinton Byfield, I said, was raw. He's still not really ready for the NHL. And what will he be? Who knows? But Tim Stützle and Lucas Raymond, legitimately super players, right? That's 1 and 2. Jamie Drysdale, great NHL career so far. You're seeing Jake Sanderson, great player. So normally I think you would see Lafreniere drop down. He does have 36 NHL goals. So it's not 0. And I don't think he's been necessarily handled right. But you look at that and you go, more hype from Quebec, right? And it's that Montreal type pressure on a player and hype, and it kind of distorts. A warmed up season, he's got 5 goals, and they sat him out. Bedard as a store brand Hughes. Bedard is better than Hughes probably. I don't know what store brand means. He is he's 17. He's done things Jack Hughes has never done. And Jack Hughes is also a Power Edge Pro type player, right? So if you look at Power Edge Pro, that was what the formula for McDavid was. And the tight crossovers, the edge work, the speed building up without big strides, handling the puck and placing the puck, retrieving the puck. These guys all play that same game where they're able to build speed, and do things on the fly without slowing down. And Connor Bedard's hockey IQ is phenomenal. He's able to find angles in areas. He's able to go to scoring areas regardless of his size. And he's fearless. You saw him hitting guys and crunching them in the World Juniors. That's not Hughes. Hughes, you lay the body on, but you got to catch Hughes, right? And same thing, you got to catch Bedard. The difference is Bedard will catch you. Not that he's going to kill people, but he's willing to do that. So I think for me, Bedard right now is ahead of where Hughes was at the same age. So if you like Jack Hughes, which Jack Hughes is showing he's a franchise type player and was worthy of being first overall, what do you got with Bedard? Patrick Kane was a first overall draft pick. 1988, they went with the 89s. This is a player at 17 that is going to go top of his actual draft class, 2005. It's not an overager like Patrick Kane was. There's no hype with Bedard. He's absolutely ripping up the WHL. How many players in the WHL were on Team Canada? They made up the majority. WHL's got other great players that are coming out of there, and he's the best of the best. And the WHL is not soft. I'll tell you right now. Maybe it's not the 70s. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just going to tell you right now. You can hard pass, and you would be the guy that would be fired because who are you going to take? Adam Fantilli? Adam Fantilli is raw, and he's a year older, and he's shown he ain't ready for the NHL. He's not even ready for the World Juniors. You saw what NCAA does to a guy that's got all the tools. Not that good. NCAA is super overrated. These are old guys that are professional age players in college playing each other. It's not the major junior league. where the average, it's 16 to 20 years old, not 20 to 24. And that's what he's playing against. He's always played in these leagues where you can see it's affected his development. Leo Carlson plays in the SHL. He's playing men. Leo Carlson is ahead of Adam Fantilli. He's not ahead of Bedard, and Bedard's younger. Yes, but if you want a number one centerman, okay, take Leo Carlson, and then you're going to watch Bedard become a superstar, and Leo Carlson become Barkov. And it'll take him a little bit of time, but he'll be really, really good. But he ain't going to be a Bedard. The ceiling of Bedard is unlimited. Bedard will be in the oven. Oh, you have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're so confused. Our coach is there. I'll ask him. Our coach, Dennis Williams, for the Everett Silvertips coach Team Canada. And I'm going to tell you what is going to happen. He's a superstar. He outscored everyone 2-1 of the World Juniors. And so he's way ahead of his peers, and he'll be able to step in the NHL before and he's ahead of Jack Hughes by far at the same age. Detroit Red Wings when I get home, and the Detroit Tigers. I don't know how the Tigers are doing. Anyways, guys, it is 9 minutes after the hour. I hope you put your money where your mouth is, because you'll lose it. I would bet against you any day. But I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate the controversy. It is always fun to see someone that thinks they know what they're talking about. Get the Little Caesars pizza. That keeps the Detroit Red Wings going. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining. Watch tonight. Thank you, Inertap, for joining. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys tonight. Detroit Red Wings versus Florida Panthers, Hockey Nation Live tonight. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will recap everything on Monday that happened over the weekend with the Red Wings. Hopefully there's at least one of two wins.